cross collaborations going on. So that creates the landscape. The purpose of this is to illustrate to you that the landscape is not clear. It is not a well-defined General Motors with walls around it working in the auto industry, or a Ford, or a VW. It's not that by a long shot. And yet we are a company, and we are in stiff competition with Toyota, Ford, Daimler, Chrysler, and the others. So what are some of the challenges we face? Just to quickly run through a couple slides here. Well, our intent, as stated in our mission, is to be the industry leader in product design and innovation. Yes, we are about products. We think we're about innovative products, such as the Hummer, which we build and design and sell in the US and worldwide. We also build it in Russia as well. A new Chevrolet SSR. The Cadillac XLR, which is built in North America and will be built in Shanghai in later next year. The Cadillac CTS. We've revitalized our Cadillac brand over the last 4 or 5 years. Remarkable turnaround. The Pontiac Vibe. This is built in North America in our joint venture with Toyota at our NUMMI plant outside of San Francisco. But we're also about innovation. And this gets closer to the focus of my talk, which is we're fuel cell. That's a key technology. What are some of the key innovations happening in the auto industry today? It's not just about building cars or assembling cars. There's a lot of technology going into the development of the vehicles themselves. A lot of it happening on the electronics and on the powertrain side. Fuel cell, of course, is one. We believe that we're a world leader in the development of fuel cell and in prototyping different fuel cell configurations, such as this futuristic, this is an artist's mock-up, but we actually have built this, autonomy. And we're into generation 3 now of an autonomy prototype that we've demonstrated and shown through a couple auto shows around the world. Other types of technology and innovation, four-wheel steering, if you will, on some of our large trucks. StabiliTrak, that's now deployed on a number of different vehicles. We were an industry leader in developing electronically controlled dynamic stabilization through the suspension system for a vehicle. Nanocomposite technology. Different types of model configuration, if you will. Celta, which was the first internet-based sales vehicle on a large scale throughout the world. That happened in Brazil. And telematics, we're the world leader in telematics in the development that started in '96 of our OnStar system, which we are deploying in North America and in Europe, and we are looking at how we deploy that and what form it takes in parts of Asia Pacific. And then other technologies such as changing 42 to a 42-volt architecture. That's just a smattering of some of the innovation technologies that we are focused on in terms of our research and advanced engineering portfolio. Now, so let's look now into, that's a little bit about GM. Let's look now into GM R&D. What is our mission at R&D? Well, it's guided by the world's best technology intelligence. World's best technology intelligence. It doesn't say Detroit's best. It doesn't say the US best. World's best, wherever that may be. GM R&D consistently responds with creativity, speed, and resourcefulness to ensure GM leadership in strategically important technologies, some of which I just illustrated for you, while adding to the world's scientific and engineering knowledge base. I am a proud member of General Motors Research because of the contributions that we can make, and I'm allowed to make to my company, General Motors, but also to the world scientific community as well. We believe we have a mission in that, and we take our collaborations with academic institutions very seriously in that role. This is what we do. We don't just write papers and reports. Our mission, we are an industrial research organization, and this is why it makes sense for us to globalize, because our mission is to not only innovate, but then to identify problem implementation issues and carry through with the appropriate customer internal to GM full implementation on our innovation ideas. To create an idea and not implement it is not the best use of our time. To be able to do that, though, you need to have a very strong sense of what is happening not only in our industry, but what is happening in markets and other industries worldwide. A lot of the new technologies that are going into vehicles are being developed in other industries. And we need to be aware of those and know what's going on. Now, if it were just to generate, if our mission were just to generate market and technology intelligence, and perhaps to create innovative responses and just stop there, as a lot of corporate research divisions do, then our mission would be easier to globalize. But because we take it full cycle to implementation, it creates an additional challenge for us in building our working teams in Bangalore and in other parts of the world. As General Motors is a global organization, so is General Motors R&D. Just a brief history of us. We were the first R&D, General Motors R&D is the central R&D facility for General Motors Corporation. It was organized in 1920 by Boss Kettering, who is the inventor of the electric starter. The General Motors Laboratory was the first automotive research organization globally. And our Kettering stated objective, which I think applies today, more so than perhaps at any other time, intensive study of the problems ahead for the automotive industry. As we are a global company, we are a global research center, with the core being the R&D center in Warren and Bangalore. Note the placement of Bangalore. Bangalore is not a satellite research lab. There have been and there are a lot of problems among multinationals in developing corporate research facilities in India. It's one thing to go out, put the bricks and mortar up, hire talent, and bring it on board. It's another thing to make them effective, to build a team, and to keep them so that they become an equal partner in a global network, a global research network. And that's where the challenge is, and that's what our goal is. In addition, we have a number of different collaborators, from OEMs to our alliance partners to suppliers to universities and science labs. We have science offices in these countries. We started with a science office in India and quickly migrated to develop that science office into a full lab. The educational background varies. This is just a quick breakdown. Roughly half of our scientists and researchers are PhDs with 20% masters and 14%, roughly 14-15% bachelors. This is on a global basis. Now, today's world, diverse markets, intense competition, accelerating industry and technology speed, and a lot of uncertainty. That's why the flexibility is so critical to us, not just as a manufacturing organization, but also as a research organization. There are dramatic changes happening in the automobiles, from hydrogen fuel economy to electronics, as I indicated before, to trying to identify new and exciting ways of meeting customer needs. Maybe you want your cell phone technology with your internet capability and your GPS vehicle system all integrated together within the vehicle so that the vehicle recognizes you when you get in. The role of the science labs in GM is to drive the front end of the innovation, and we're responsible for the leadership in the key strategic technologies. We are world-class technical experts, comprised of world-class technical experts for development projects and company key assists, provide technical credibility for interfacing with policymakers, governments, recruiting deep technical talent for the corporation. We've had a long and successful history of recruiting and developing key talent within R&D. We heard one of our former R&D alums yesterday give the keynote address, and then developing that and launching that person's career into the company as well. Our collaborative labs, as I indicated before, have various areas of focus, from materials to body manufacturing to wireless communications to supply chain analysis and so on. Now, why India? Well, currently, we of course have our facility up in Halol, our manufacturing plant. We've been there for a number of years, but 2 years ago we started at the ITPL facility and launched an engineering and a research facility in Bangalore. This is a copy of the announcements that came out in February of 2.5 years ago, announcing both the science lab launching as well as the engineering. This is in our location. We're in one of the buildings in here. So, why India? I break it down into 3 basic reasons. One is the talent base. What are we about? What is our mission? Okay, I hope going through these slides up to this point, I wanted to do that. I really would have preferred to have done it in fewer slides, but I wanted to do that to make sure you understood how technology driven we are. We're not just a car company. We're an innovative car company. Innovation and technology has been the core of our essence since the beginning, going back over 100 years. So, why India? Talent base. Number 1 item, talent base. We are a global company. We need to attract and to tap into the global market of high technology talent. Clearly, India is at the forefront of that, along with other markets around the world. Market presence. Asia Pacific is a fast-growing area, the fastest-growing automotive markets in the world today and probably for the foreseeable future. We have a market presence here in Asia Pacific and in India, and we want to grow that. And we are growing that. And then new technology development, as I said before, just a few slides ago. A lot of the technology that's going into vehicles is not just the traditional vehicle technologies themselves, but a combination and an integration of electronics as well as vehicle technology. Okay, so if I start looking at vehicle technology and electronics, software development, smart vehicles, where can I go and get a lot of talent? In electronics, in IT, in software development. I can go to Hyderabad, I can go to Bangalore, I can go to India and get that. What's missing from here? Intentionally missing. Low cost. Low cost. Why didn't I put low cost up there? Because it's not sustainable. We're not here because of low cost. Today's low-cost market is tomorrow's high-cost market. That's not sustainable for us. That may be different if I'm up here speaking as a manufacturer. But I'm speaking from a technology perspective, from an R&D perspective. We have to go after where the talent is, and we want to grow that there. Low cost has nothing to do with it. If we're here for low cost, then we're going, as many companies are in their R&D organizations, you're going to run into trouble in terms of developing a sustainable, viable organization that steps up and becomes a part of a global R&D organization. If the argument is cost, then we made a mistake from the beginning. The global technology challenges. Well, what is it we have to do to make this work? We've developed over 400 in a little over 2 years engineers in our Bangalore engineering facility, and we're on track to ramp up to 100 researchers by the end of this year. So in a little over 2 years in our research facility in Bangalore. I would guess, my personal guess is that those numbers would grow in years to come as well. We have to make it work. A lot of the talent and acquiring of talent, companies focus on that. And that's true. That's not an easy thing to do. But that is the least problematic or challenging of the problems facing us in terms of launching this and developing it. Acquiring talent has actually proven to be, I wouldn't say easy, but easier than we anticipated. There's an enormous amount of talent, as you all know, in the area. And But what is more difficult is then effective team building. How do you make this talent? How do you mold it into a team? How do you focus it on the right things? Okay. We have cultural challenges in starting an organization, as we've done, a research organization in Bangalore. What do you think some of the key cultural challenges are? And I'm willing to bet you've all made the same mistake when I've said cultural challenges. You're thinking India culture. I didn't allude to that at all. I'm not talking US culture versus India culture versus China culture. The cultural challenge is GM culture. From two perspectives. One is from a General Motors perspective, how to open up and learn from this new organization that we create. And embrace them and bring them in as an equal partner to us, to our global network. From the other side, from the Indian side, the culture challenge is largely the people we've hired in our research facility have not had automotive experience, let alone General Motors experience. And so they have to learn about both. Okay? If we set up an organization that